All right, hello, Leslie, Kamari, Kamani. Going to talk about the next step in our fraction unit today, so pay close attention. I really hope you watched the last video because I don't want you falling behind. Now take a look up here at this fraction. Now, what you see here is that we've got one whole rectangle. From there to there, we've got one rectangle, right? We'll call that one. And then let's look from here to here. This spot to this spot, from there to there. Well, what I want you to notice is in this rectangle, we have this rectangle split into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, right? So there's 4 total parts in the rectangle. Remember, that's our denominator, right? We saw that in the last lesson. This is the denominator, the number of total parts. And then how many are selected to be colored? 1, 2, 3. 3. So this part here, this is 3/4, right? I don't know if you can see that very well. Man, I need to make it closer. So from there to there, that's 3/4. Now what we're going to do today, this is called decomposition. In decomposition, we show how a fraction can be broken up into smaller fractions. For example, we have right here from there, that's just 1/4, isn't it? Right there, that's 1/4. And then this also, this here by itself, that's 1/4. And then that by itself right there, that's 1/4. So you can see that 3/4 can be broken up into 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. And we can show that with an addition sentence. Like just doing this, we could say that 3/4 equals 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, right? If we take 1/4 and 1/4 and 1/4 and put them all together, that makes 3/4. And now these fractions here, you notice they all have numerators of 1, just like all the fractions on this page here. All the fractions, the numerator is 1. Those are called unit fractions. Unit fractions. The unit fraction just shows like whatever type of part you're working with. Like in this case, we're working with fourths, right? Well, the unit is 1/4. It's just showing what would be one part of that fraction. So for example, when we have thirds, 1, 2, 3 thirds, when they're thirds, here's a unit fraction, 1/3, right? We have like fifths over here. Well, here's 1 unit fraction. Each of these is a unit fraction. Just remember, the unit fractions, they have a numerator of 1. Remember the numerator is the top number? Numerator of 1. All right, that's what a unit fraction is. Let's put that over here so we don't lose it. Unit fraction. And today, that'll be something we always do. Every time we decompose a fraction, we're going to decompose it into unit fractions. Like in this case, 3/4 can be decomposed into 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Those are all unit fractions. But there's other ways you can decompose it. Like how about this? Well, let's say we've got 1/4 here. And then how about from there to there? What would that be? Well, here's 1/4, 3/4. Wouldn't this would be 2/4, right? So this is 2/4 right here. So we could say another way to decompose it, 3/4 equals 1/4 plus 2/4. That. And we see it there. 1/4 here plus 2/4 here equals 3/4, right? And so we're showing the decomposition with an addition sentence. 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. I want you to notice something else too, not just in the picture, but when you do this, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, right? And the denominator stays the same. 1 plus 2 equals 3, and the denominator stays the same. It's important to remember that. I'll show you why. Let's do the next one. So again, this is called decomposition. Remember, we start by decomposing into unit fractions. Let's see, let's make another rectangle. And again, this is one rectangle, right? One whole rectangle. We just label that one whole rectangle. This marker is dying fast. Let's see. How about we split it into, let's split it into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't look very good, does it? Let's shrink it down a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we put this into 5 equal parts. So we know right away, whatever fraction we make, we're going to be working with fifths, right? We're going to be working with fifths because there's 5 total parts. Let's just go over with the red. There we go. So we know whatever fraction we color in, the denominator is going to be 5, right? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Well, let's color in, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and color in 4 fifths. All right, so from here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 parts all in all. So the denominator is 5, right? And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in. So that's 4 fifths. So we got 4 fifths. Well, let's decompose it. Let's start with unit fractions, right? That means we look at each individual one. We know that this is 1 fifth. This is 1 fifth. That's 1 fifth. And that's 1 fifth. So we know that 4 fifths is 1 fifth plus 1 fifth plus 1 fifth plus 1 fifth. Just like that. And again, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4, right? And the denominator stays the same. So that's one way we can decompose it into its unit fractions. Remember, where every fraction just has a numerator of 1. Well, let's look at another way we could do it. What if we, let's say we split it like this, like that and that. Well, here we've got 2 fifths, right? And here we've also got 2 fifths. So 2 fifths and 2 fifths makes 4 fifths. So we could say 4 fifths equals 2 fifths plus 2 fifths, right? We could see it here, 2 fifths there and 2 fifths there makes a total of 4 fifths. And also, remember, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and the denominator stays the same. There's one more way to decompose 4 fifths, isn't there? Let's look. What if we were to do, well, here we've got 1 fifth. Well, that leaves the rest of this. How much is that? 1, 2, 3 fifths. 3 fifths. So we got 1 fifth and 3 fifths makes 4 fifths. So if we were to write that, 1 fifth plus 3 fifths equals 4 fifths. And again, you can see it in the picture. Here's 1 fifth, here's 3 fifths. Together it makes 4 fifths. And also 1 plus 3 equals 4. And the denominator stays the same, right? So that is called decomposing fractions, all right? And the first thing we're always going to do is decompose it into unit fractions, okay? So let me show you here in the Seesaw, a quick assignment that you can do. If you go into Seesaw, right here, the assignment says unit fractions. I guess I could have named it better. Oh, it's this one here. Let's see what it says to do. Make it bigger. It says draw and shade a tape diagram of the given fraction. So that's what this is. That's a tape diagram, right? So you're going to show 4/7. So that means in your tape diagram, you're going to show a total of 7 parts, right? According to the denominator. And you're going to shade in 4 of them, right? Because that shows 4/7. And then look what it says. Record the decomposition of the fraction in 3 different ways using number sentences. You're like, what are they talking about? What they're talking about is do this. Decompose it all the different 3 different ways. How can 4/7 be decomposed? Just like 4/5, it could be decomposed 3 ways. It could be 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. It could be 2/5 plus 2/5, and it could be 1/5 plus 3/5. Those are all ways that you can decompose 4/5. They're asking you to show 3 ways that you can decompose 4/7. All right. So I expect to see a tape diagram like that in your assignment, and I expect to see 3 addition sentences. They call them number sentences, showing how you can decompose 4/7. And at least one of them needs to be in unit fractions, all right? So don't forget that. One of them has to be in unit fractions, okay? Come back to this video and watch it again if you need to, all right? And again, this is not nearly as good as being in class, I know, but it's the best I can do. I'm sorry. Hopefully you watch the video and hopefully it makes sense and you can get your assignment done. So go ahead and work on it.